Hello and welcome to another Friday Conversations. Today I'm chatting with Melody, who's a paralegal and she works in civil disputes and landlord and tenant type matters. So hello Melody, thanks for coming to chat with me.
Hello, you're welcome. Looking forward to it.
Oh, brilliant. So we just had a little chat just now where I sort of said a few of the questions I was going to ask you, but I wanted to start off by asking, how much did you work from home before now? I know obviously we're all at home now 100%, but how much work did you do at home before this?
Yeah, so my company that I work for, Markel, they're very flexible, that if you need to work from home, then you're more than willing to work from home. Myself, I've never really needed to, except for maybe I have an appointment that I couldn't get at a convenient time, so it was an awkward one, so I'd work from home to be able to get to that appointment. So probably just once in a blue moon, really. So having 100% has really changed. But it was always nice to have the option there.
Yeah. So did you find that other people in your team or at your firm would work from home more, or is it just something that people wouldn't do very often unless they had an appointment or something, like you say?
Yes, so my team itself, civil litigation. No one really in my team does work from home. We all think it's easier to work from the office. Those that have small children, have partners, that it's easier to. They're easy to pick them up, so they don't find it's beneficial. And the other people in our team actually live in the city centre, so it's like the working from home anyway. It's quite close. Our office itself, you see more like the employment solicitors work from home a lot more, and that's predominantly because they are advocates too, so they're on the go all the time, and it's just easier sometimes if they're going to be travelling to work from home rather than come in the office.
Yeah.
But everyone else, I feel like we work in the office more, but we all know that's an option. But we tend to stick to the office.
So it must feel like a big change now then.
Yes, it's weird not seeing the faces that you see every day, 5 days a week, because we're just used to always interacting. And even though we're interacting now, we've got our own sort of Skype system. It's just not the same.
Yeah, definitely. And do you feel, how has the IT and everything worked? Because I always think that's the biggest thing when you go to working from home, is whether you've got all the IT systems and things.
The system itself is amazing. You can remotely log on. It crashes now and then, but I think that's because a lot of people are working remotely. Maybe the system's not so used to having so many remote accesses into it. I'd say more my issue would be having the facilities around me. I don't have my 2 screens. It has been offered to me, but I've got quite a small house and there's nowhere I could put it really. I do have my printer, but I don't have like your franking machine or the DX toast.
Yeah.
The things that you sort of take for granted really. It's a lot easier to when they're right next to you.
Yes, yeah, it's so true, isn't it? And we can't, none of us can recreate our whole offices at home, as you say, with the machinery that we need and the high powered scanners and printers and photocopiers and things. We just can't have all that, can we?
No, I've started to really appreciate having all this high tech around me, because I used to think, why do we need this high tech printer? And then after it takes about 2 minutes to print 1 page on my printer, I realise that it's very time efficient having these high-tech printers.
Oh, yes, that's brilliant. I know exactly what you mean. Yeah. Oh, so you mentioned there that you've got a small house there. So who do you have at home with you? Who's at home with you at the moment?
So at my house, I have my best friend who moved in with me maybe a month or 2 ago. And then she has a 7-month-old baby. which is a challenge to
Wow.
have in the house while you're working. And then 3 dogs, 3 very yappy dogs.
Oh. Oh wow. Well, I'm glad you've got some company there, because I can only imagine, because I've got a house full here with my other half and our 3 children and dog. I can only imagine for people who are going through this lockdown on their own, that must be really difficult.
Yeah, it definitely is. I moved out at the back end of February. So I lived with my mum before that, and it's quite a busy household. With my aunties living there, my dad, siblings, and then I was just about getting used to being not with them and just being with me, my friend, the baby, and then all of a sudden I couldn't see them. And it was quite hard, and it's still quite hard to not be able to hug her, because we
Yes.
live 2 minutes away. So my one daily exercise, I walk past her house, I'll wave, I'll still see
Oh,
her, and she'll walk her dogs to come up and see me. But we can't hug each other, and we can't have that face-to-face conversation. And
mm,
even that I find quite hard. So I feel so sorry for the peoples that may be isolated on themselves or
yes.
just with the partners.
Yeah.
Because I loved my best friend so much before this isolation. And now
Oh,
I would just love someone else to come in and say hi,
yes.
have a conversation with anyone
Oh,
else.
yes. It's funny, isn't it? I know one of my children's best friends who lives down the road, they actually came up and posted a little letter through the letterbox yesterday. And I didn't open the door until they were back down at the other end of the driveway. But even that, you're talking to your friends across a driveway. And I've had
Yeah,
to, even take the letter away and put it in my pile for 24 hours before we can, open the post. And it's a different world, isn't it? Just in two
yeah.
or 3 weeks, we just live in a different world. Whereas, like you've said, we took so much for granted.
Yes, I was looking forward to working from home, oddly enough.
Mm,
I was thinking I could get up a little bit later. I don't have to sit on a bus for 50 minutes to an hour. I don't have to have the hustle and bustle of Manchester City. And it'll be great and I can enjoy it. And after the first week, it wore off on me. And I
mm.
was I was missing that 50-minute bus journey, and I was missing the hustle and bustle and being able to pop out for a Greg's and having a
Yes.
cup of tea with your colleagues. It's the little things, that the social interactions in your normal day to day. I sort of want them back.
Yeah. Yeah.
The
We'll
bits
be.
that you don't like normally, I like them now.
Oh, I like that. Yes, you're even missing your bus journey.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. How do you find it? I didn't mention this question actually, but I'm just interested in how do you find it being a paralegal working at home on your own? Because I'm guessing that, you were obviously very, very involved with working with others in the team. How's that? How would you find that being at home on your own?
Surprisingly, I'm not that involved with other people's work.
Mm,
I run my own caseload of landlord and tenant possession cases.
right.
Um, so they are mine, um, and my supervisor spot checks them now and then.
Mm,
Um, so my interaction with the team is quite bare minimal. Um, However, when I do have a drop in work to do, as right now as the law has changed recently on possessions,
mm,
um, trying to get my chargeable work up is quite hard when I can't just turn around and go, does anyone have an opinion they want me to do, or do you have a witness statement I can help you with? Like little things like that, I can't just turn around and be like, will someone put their hand up if you need any
yeah.
help?
Mm,
And
yeah.
it's a difficult conversation to say to your boss, look, there's no work for me to do at the minute. And I feel like the
Mm,
pressure of being a paralegal at home is I feel like I need to justify the
mm,
hours that I'm doing, and that I need to justify I'm doing my chargeable hours and I am working. Where at work they can see that you're working. There's a
yeah.
little bit of a trust me, which they do. They're completely amazing that they do trust me. But I always feel like I have that little bit more sense of a justification I need to do. If I was a solicitor, I don't feel like I would have.
Well, maybe, I don't know. I think a lot of us, well, historically, I think it's always been about trust. That's why more people didn't
Yeah.
work from home, because, you know, whatever it was, their organizations or the management, they always felt that they needed to see people to see what they were doing.
Yeah.
So I'm really interested to see how this is going to change in coming months, because, you know, ultimately people are working at home. I'm sure they're working hard, and, you know, they're not going to be able to use that argument anymore, I don't think.
Yeah, I think a lot of employers that use the excuse, it's just not efficient, you're working at home, I feel like they'll be proved wrong a lot
Yes.
at the minute. But I also think the social aspect will be, a lot of people won't want to work from home a lot of the time. It'd be nice to have that option, and I think employees should be able to be given that option. But I think especially the people that are so sociable, I know myself, I'm not going to want this. I like that I've got the option, but I'm going to enjoy having the going to the office and talking to everyone around me.
Yeah. Yeah, I think you're absolutely spot on there. I think that's exactly what people will say. They'll say, yeah, you know, it's handy when I've got a busy day ahead to be quiet at home and to just get on with it myself without perhaps the interruptions you get in the office. But yeah, I totally agree with you. I don't know many people who'd want to do 100% work from home and not go in at all. I don't think they would,
Yeah.
especially not after this.
No,
Oh.
everyone's so, you have to stay at home. It's that thing when someone tells you you have to do something, you don't want to do it.
Yeah, absolutely. So looking back at this week, how has this week been for you? What have been some of the high points or the low points this week?
Um, well, as I said, I work in possessions. This week's been mostly me trying to get my head around the new governing laws, um, what's happening within possessions. Everything's being put in a way on pause, or notices have been extended. What would be a Section 8 for 2 weeks is now a 3-month notice. So it's just, I've been talking to a lot of clients, letting them know their expectations. And most of it's been just talking about coronavirus to a lot of clients and reassuring them and having just a nice friendly chat, because I've found that a lot of clients, they're at the minute they're just not having chats outside of their own household. So it's nice, they get on the phone to you and all law goes out the window, and they just want to know what you had for your tea, and they just want to have that communication. And I think that's quite good, because I get an amazing conversation with someone, and B, you're getting that relationship up with them, because I can't do anything for them for a couple of months at the minute, and it's took its negative toll on me for the fact that I can't actually help them too much at this moment, but at least I can put the mind at ease.
Yeah, I love that point though. You know, like you're saying, you can't physically do what you would normally do for them at the moment because it's all been put on hold, but you're still you know, you're doing good business development work there. That sounds brilliant.
Yeah, the clients don't disappear. They don't just not want their property back just because this has happened. A lot of them do understand they can't have it back anytime soon. But Section 8, you have to be in 2 months arrears for rent arrears. And coronavirus, well, I may be wrong, but I don't think it affected anyone's work 2 months ago. So that wasn't the cause of the rent arrears. So I understand their frustration where they're saying, well, I need my property back because I've got a mortgage too. And it's just trying to understand how we're going to move forward from it. And it is a quite difficult situation for a lot of people, for tenants as well. I am very sympathetic to tenants, but you've also, because I'm predominantly landlord, I also need to see it from my landlord's position, that they need to pay their own mortgage, and they may not have the work coming in for them because of the virus. And it's just a tricky situation for everyone involved at the minute.
It is, absolutely. But I love what you've said there, that, you know, you're just keeping in touch with your clients, you're giving them a listening ear, even if it is, as you say, to tell them what you're having for tea, because it just gives them something else to talk about.
Yeah.
You know, that, like you've said, that's how you keep that relationship going with them, so that when we do come out of this the other side, you know, that you'll be the first person they come to.
Yeah, and then hopefully they'll let other people know, and they'll get other people to come over to us.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, you've just got to be the best you can be during every situation. And I like to say that I provide a very friendly service, even though it is professional. I like to be the friendliest I can be. And there's a lot of clients that I will have a little bit of a giggle with and make sure they're okay before I actually go on to the legal stuff.
Mm.
Um, and a lot of them don't like the legal stuff. They just like knowing what's happening and then going, okay, that's fine. That's my perfect client, to be fair. The ones that you don't have to use, you don't have to use the legal jargon with.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's good. It's good to have a chat with people, and it's good that they know that I'm here, even if they just want to ring up and say, okay, so what are we now doing? And I'll be saying, well, we have to wait for 3 months, but how are you doing? And then they have a
Mm.
full-on conversation. It's great.
Yeah, I really like that. I think that's brilliant. And you know, you're looking after them in a different way. You know, you can't do their legal work at the moment for them, but you're giving them a listening ear, which is really
Yeah,
good.
yeah. It's also hilarious when the baby starts crying. And I was like, you have a child? I'm like, no, I don't have a child. So then we get into the whole live with my best friend. My best friend has a little baby. And I'm like, how are you handling having a baby? And I was like, okay, we're getting into that conversation then. Then we
Oh,
have a whole
brilliant.
conversation about babies, and then the dogs start barking, and I'm like, I'm so sorry. And you've then got all this noise around you, which I cannot wait to then go to the office and not have that noise around me.
Yes, yeah. Well, it's hasn't it changed so much so quickly? I mean, when I used to work from home I started about 8 years ago working from home, and for the first 3 years, I would hide the fact that the dog was here or the children were here, and like you
Yeah.
say, try and go and find a quiet place where you couldn't hear them. Whereas, you know, right now there isn't really any quiet place because there's three of them now, and they're a lot older. But yeah, it's just so normal now, you know. Whereas I wouldn't answer the phone if I thought there was too much noise around, and I would call back.
Yeah.
Whereas now you just get on with it, don't you?
Well, in my first week, I was extremely like that. I would ask Jess to put the dogs in the kitchen, or I would go upstairs to then not hear the baby, because she's a very loud baby. She likes giggling all the time.
Oh,
And I can't really say, please be quiet, because she doesn't
oh,
understand.
yeah.
But it wasn't until a client actually turned around and said, I don't care.
Mm,
Everyone's working from home. You're being as professional as you can be. You're getting the work done. So why does it matter if you've got the dogs there? Why does it matter if you've got a little baby there? And I think at that point, I then calmed down. And I
mm.
was like, okay, that's fine then. I don't mind answering the phone. Obviously, if the baby's screaming her head off, I will go into another room, which
Yeah.
has happened a few times. And I've kind of, sorry, I can't hear you, 2 seconds. Um, but yeah, I think it'd be silly for anyone to expect you not to have company around you at this minute,
Yes.
or expect you not to have noise. So
Yeah.
I have calmed down a lot now to be accepted.
Yeah.
Is that a word? Like, I now accept that I've got the noise around me, and I'm happy to answer the phone, which is relieved a lot of stress when answering the phone.
Yes. Yeah. I think that's absolutely right. It is that acceptance of the situation that we're in. So yep, there's going to be some noise. Yep, it's not going to be perfect as we'd want it to be, but we're all doing the best we can, aren't we?
Yeah, and it's nice to have the understanding of everyone, even legal professionals. I was on a conference call with a barrister the other day, and the dog just came in. I was like, let me see your dog. Like, I know this isn't professional, but your dog just walked in. Let me see your dog.
Oh, how brilliant.
You can't have a dog come into a room and not show me it.
Oh.
So then after the conference, we had about a 5-minute chat about about our dogs. So it's nice. I think it's also brought people together in a way.
Oh yes, you're absolutely right. I mean, you just wouldn't get to know people in the same way as I think we are doing now, because I think we are having more honest and open conversations with people. I don't know if you've noticed that. I think you have from what you've said.
Yeah, it's just putting your hands up and going, to be honest with you, I'm doing such and such at the minute, or let me just make a brew and then I'll call you.
Yes, yeah,
Little things like that.
yeah, yeah. No, you're absolutely right. You are. So is there anything that you've learned over the last week or two since you've got into this home working pattern that you think would be useful for other people?
Um, I would say for employers to trust your employees a little bit more
Mm.
and know that the legal profession can work from home. Because in my old company, the excuse they always said to me from when I couldn't work at home was, well, we don't have the facilities, or we don't have it's not efficient for you to work at home. But I was looking after my gran at the time, and it would have benefited me massively to work at home. So I would say, well, you've been able to get the facilities right now, so I'm sure you'll be able to have the facilities continuing. So from the employer's perspective, you can let your employees work from home and you can trust them, and they do have the facilities. They've just done 2 weeks to do this. So just trusting them a bit more. And then I'd say for employees, enjoy going to work and enjoy that bus transfer, and then getting your cup of tea and having your dinner. And for me, going to the gym, because my gym is right outside my work. Otherwise I'd never go. And it's just having that conversation with your colleagues. What did you do at the gym today? Or are you going to the gym? Shall we go to the gym together? Little things like that. Just enjoy the social aspect of work. But also don't be afraid to have that time at home because it's quieter, or you don't really feel up to going into the office. You might have a cold, but it's not bad enough to have a sick day. So yeah, just like, be more honest, really, I think, with yourself, knowing what's best for you. I think everyone knows whether it's best to either work at home or go to work. I think everyone's extremely different. I think I've learned that it's better for me to go to work than stay at home, but I acknowledge there will be times where it's easier to stay at home.
Yeah, I like that. I think we're all learning different things about ourselves, aren't we, in this process? I think being at home 100% of the time in this lockdown situation, you can't not start learning things about yourself that you didn't know before. But those tips are really good, really good. But thank you so much for having a chat with us today.
No worries, I have enjoyed it.
Oh, excellent. So thank you very much, everybody, and I look forward to sharing another Friday conversation with you again soon.